Yo, what's good, duelists? Recently there was an AGOV tournament, and I'm going to go over the top 8 deck list. We have a Red Dragon Archfiend variant actually winning the whole tournament. This deck is not the worst when it comes to the support. Really, the biggest support it got was the new Synchro that allows you to summon Red Dragon Archfiend when it's sent from the field to the graveyard. So that's Scared Dragon Archfiend. I don't know why, because like for me, I would read this as sacred. But basically, it just special summons Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. They also have that cool side card that we see 3 of. This card's actually kind of broken, so if you control a level 8 or higher Synchro monster, you can banish all monsters on the field, except the one with the highest level. Also, the remaining face-up monsters on the field are unaffected by other card effects. This card's kind of crazy to me, because, like, if you have multiple monsters with high levels, say like, Kaleido, Rukalos, and Red Dragon Archfiend, I'm pretty sure all of those would actually not be affected by other card effects until the end of the turn. And then even when I think about like maybe this could be playable in tier, if a Dark Dragon Synchro monster is Synchro summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So I don't know, this card I think would be a cool Tearlaments tech maybe one day. Definitely if they're more of a Synchro variant, just because like this is a broken first effect for a card. And then, like, another random trap that they just play, that's a red trap. When your opponent activates a card effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can target one card on the field, destroy it, then you can target one of your banished Dark Dragon Synchro monsters, special summon it. So, pretty good cards, actually, in the Red Dragon Archfiend archetype. Also, I played this deck in Duel Links, and it was kind of just absurd with basically just these two monsters, Red Resonator and Vanquish. You also play Doom Caliber Knight as a fiend you could search just for the end combo. So let me know if you play Duel Links and you remember that deck. But going on to the next deck, we have Infernoble Knights. This deck's real boost is going to be this equip spell, which is kind of like the Mermail equip spell. It's like an Ash Blossom or Carrot. When your opponent, the first spell effect that they activate that does resolve will be negated. So basically if you use like Baron de Fleur on a spell card, it's still going to negate the next spell card they activate, and it's only going to negate the effect. So it doesn't actually negate activation. It's like Ash Blossom in that way. I do like that it's a concise 40 for non-engine. We have Ash Blossom, Talents, and Imperm, so basically only 9 cards for non-engine going second. We are afraid of the Pearly and Dweller matchup, so we do have the 3 Encores on the side. We're going with a trend of 3 Druis Worms on the side for decks. We're going to see a lot more of just 3 Druis Worm, no Magnamont, because of its actual second effect, just by itself. And then Droll Lockbirds and Nibiru's on the side. And then we actually have a deck that I think is severely underrated, Mathmech. Definitely still just a pretty solid deck. I mean, we see that it can fit, what, 5, 8, 11, 14, 15 non-engine cards, 16, 17 non-engine cards that are good going second. That's pretty insane, especially when you have a card like Heat Soul. Playing all these hand traps is really good. It's interesting that they decide not to play the fusion that negates a spell or trap while you control the Firewall. With their Firewall package, they're just playing the effect negate with it. They are playing Link Rebo, so they do have Ibli out in this deck. They decide to side the Baguska for matchups like, Flu. Basically anything that Baguska could shine against, they sided on for going first. It's really good for shifter decks. And then we have 3 Bells, 1 Called by the Grave, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Cosmic Cyclone, 3 Droplets. I think Droplets is actually a lot better now going into the next format, and that's why we saw it in my Utrecht deck review. Or not, I think it was... No, I'm getting the names mixed up. But in my last YCS review, Dortmund, we see that Droplet was actually really popular in a lot of decks. And then for going first, they just side 3 Solemn Strike, which it's a pretty generic card. It's good. I think there's like a lot more cards that could get a lot more value. Like, are you really that afraid of just a monster effect going second on your opponent's turn? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it would be the best card for siding. Then we have a Dragon Link deck list getting 4th place. This deck is running a ton of Bestials, obviously, and then they're actually running the new Sinful Spoils package too. So we have 2 Diabell Stars, 3 Quick Plays, and 1 1-for-1. Our non-engine is going to be 3 Ash, 3 Nibiru, and that's really it. If you don't include the Bestials, it's just 3 Ash, 3 Nibiru, which is kind of scary, especially when we're running 45 cards in the main deck. we're running a Fusion Destiny package, which is really interesting. We haven't seen that card actually be played a whole bunch, and since Verte got banned. Even the Tearlaments builds are playing Denier and Mali with no Fusion Destiny. They don't even care. They have the free fodder for it, and they're still saying, you know what, DPE is actually not a good enough card. And then we have this really cute card, this level 9. So basically for the Diabellstar package, if you go, say, the Dark Witch, and then you have another monster, you activate the 1-for-1 special summon Jet Synchron, you can actually climb into Baron de Fleur with just this guy, because he special summons another monster from grave. So this is just like a way to climb into Baron de Fleur. He also draws some cards. He's a pretty neat card. I haven't read it in a while, but I did actually just, like, my friend Taylor told me about this combo to climb into Baron de Fleur a while ago, but you can just do it with Dark Witch and another monster face-up card. So it's pretty neat to actually see someone play it. You know, if you want to make Baron de Fleur first, it's definitely something to test. I would recommend. And then we just have an Anima, Striker, just basically the normal Dragon Link extra deck. I have said in the past that I think SP Little Knight actually makes Dragon Link a lot better. It does trigger your regains, which is pretty nice. And then we have a time card in the side, 3 Drools, 3 Kaijus, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Talents, 3 Evenly, and 3 Skill Drains in the Dragon Link deck. And then we have a Tearlaments deck that got 5th place. It is running 2 of the Foolish Burial Goods, which I love to see. They're running 3 Super Polys for non-engine. They are doing that field spell thing where they play Planet, and then 2 Fenrirs, 3 Tier Cash, but they are running the King of the Swamp, which I don't really like too much right now. They do have the Poly to go with it. The 2 Sullux and the 2 Metanoise again. I don't know, 3 Kaijus, 3 Super Polys I don't really like as our only non-engine for going second, and that's where I think the downfall of tier is that it can't really fit much non-engine, and with only 1 Havness, doesn't seem like you're playing on your opponent's turn too much. But we also have Linkuriboh for the Ibly lock. We're playing a Barcode Talker just to discard a card. We're playing Sprint, SP Little Knight as our only links. I definitely think even this deck should be playing SP Little Knight. We're running like the default fusions for the King of the Swamp, like Grapha, Guardian Chimera, and Rukalos. And then we have the Linkuriboh for Ibly, 2 Druid Worm only, a Heartbeat in the side, and 3 Dark Rulers for going second versus decks like Vanadium, I'm assuming. And then we have a Despia list that got 6th. Deciding to go with the 3 Designators, this is kind of just like an OG Despia list, not like the one we saw with 50 cards in the YCS review. They're only running 1 Thrust with 1 Talents. I don't know. I think Thrust is kind of weird in this deck when you're, like, especially just playing 1 in the main and side, and then you're just siding, like, what are you setting when you go for his 3 Imperms? I would just probably cut the Thrust and get to 40, right? And then they have a whole Fusion extra deck, only Fusions, with a Dragoon, because they're playing the Dark Magician and the Gimmick Puppet Nightmare package, and I just noticed they're only playing 2 Ash Blossoms too. I mean, that's really strange. I don't know what this Thrust is doing here. Then we have Mud Dragon, Garura in the side, because we're siding the 3 Super Polys. We have 2 Dogwoods for going second in time. We have 3 Shifters. Shifters really falling off as a card I do not think is as good as it once was. Sometimes, like, even the Rika player, or the Vanquish Soul player that got second said they would rather have DD Crow over Shifter. Then we have 2 Cosmic Cyclones and 1 D Barrier and 2 Evenlies. So really only 2 D Barriers for the side going first versus Pearly, even though it's such a broken card. And then for a 7th place list, we have Flu, only playing 1 Harpy's Featherstorm, which I don't mind because you have a lot of searchers. You have Prosperity, Duality that can all grab this card when you do go first. Same with the, well, they're playing 2 Thrusts, so it's kind of like they have 3 copies, and then they have the Harpy's Feather Duster, but you are really just afraid of Imperm if you don't open your map. So I don't know how powerful Thrust is. It is very good versus a card like Ash Blossom, but versus like cards like DD Crow or Imperm, it's not really going to do anything for you because they're not going to activate those cards. And or Nibiru, and we have seen like Nibiru, DD Crow, Imperm be trends, and all those cards aren't going to get activated for versus you going first. So I don't know how powerful Thrust actually is in a deck like this. We have a staple like Flu extra deck, a bunch of random cards because we're playing cherries for them. So we do have the Ultimate Slayer with the Live Twin or the Evil Twin, and then we're playing that in the extra deck as well for the Ultimate Slayer. We have DD Crow, 3 Drolls, and 2 more Heartbeast Featherstorm for going first. And then for the 8th place, so we still see no Rescue Ace in this post AGOV tournament. Maybe that's a sign that people actually won't like it. We also don't see any Unchained, which is the most prominent deck, but didn't do that well at the last YCS, but I still think it is a very good deck. I mean, I think Rescue Ace and Unchained are 2 of the best decks, to be honest. And then we have a Tearlaments list that we will go over now. 3 Shaddoll Fusions, 3 Herald of the Abyss, 3 Anti-Spells, 3 Evenly Matched, 2... This side deck looks crazy. For the extra deck, we're only playing the 1 Baron, the Floowandereeze, Synchro, we're playing Sprint, no SP Little Knight, Underworld Goddess instead, when we compare it to the list from before. Then Abyss Dweller, Redoer. We're playing all of the King of the Swamp fusions, Grapha, Chimera, again, Winda this time, Rukalos. We're only playing 2 Diviner instead of 3, only 1 Fenrir, and we're doing the Terraforming thing again. I guess you have to, maybe. 2 Foolish Burial Goods for the Tribute Karma and the Sulik, and then we are also playing 2 Griefing in the main with 3 Scream. So a lot of notable things out of the differences in this tier list compared to the other one, but that is the complete meta rundown on this tournament. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and peace!